never bath you and sleep, the hug, your mother's hug. They didn't get that. Most of the children here, no one did hug. No one will say to them, I love you. These children will come, they were still young and HIV, AIDS, and they will die. They will come and stay 2 months, 3 months and leave the children. Their families will bring them and go, and they don't come back. Most of them, sometimes they will say, Grace, please look after my children. I'm dying, but I didn't understand. I was asking myself, why these children? But now, everything is fine now. There is medication. Yeah. The problem is they're orphans now. I want to see them happy. Because most of these children, they've gone through hell.
Nelson Mandela was, of course, the man who inspired the world, but you're about to meet the little boy who inspired Nelson Mandela.
It was just more than a decade ago the world first met little Nkosi Johnson, the South African boy born with HIV. He'd lost his mother to AIDS, and at a time when South Africa was unwilling to talk about the disease, Nkosi bravely stood before the world and did.
We are normal. We are human beings. We can walk. We can talk.
That woman giving him the thumbs up right there is the woman who would adopt him, Gail Johnson. And the two of them together would start a shoestring shelter for mothers with AIDS and their children. They called it Nkosi's Haven.
The HIV/AIDS stigma exists around the world in a variety of forms, including ostracism, rejection, discrimination, and avoidance of HIV-infected people. Joining us to talk about World AIDS Day and other related issues is Gail Johnson, renowned HIV/AIDS activist and founder of Nkosi's Haven Orphanage, based here in Johannesburg. Thanks for joining us, Gail.
Thank you so much for having me.
His mom couldn't take him back into the community because of the stigma, and people were unbelievably frightened about HIV/AIDS at that stage. And so I took him home. Everyone said to us that Nkosi would die within 9 months because although he wasn't full-blown at the stage, he was sick. And we just carried on, and I had him for 9.5 years. Nkosi became a little public person because there was no policy around admission of infected kids to school. So when I put on his application form that he was HIV positive, it hit the fans. He hit international news, became a little public speaker because governments suddenly realized that they needed a policy around admission. They needed educational material. So he pioneered all that. When the policy was launched, schools were phoning me up and saying, could Nkosi come and speak to the kids? And he did. He had phenomenal courage because he was asked some very hard-hitting questions, because at that stage there weren't ARVs, so Nkosi had a death sentence, yes. And he was asked those kind of questions. So because he had been very public, the organizers of the 13th World AIDS Conference, which was held in Durban, asked him if he would speak at the opening ceremony. And he had a live audience of 10,000 delegates and a television viewership of about 60 million. The president of the country at the time, Thabo Mbeki, changed the running order because Nkosi was supposed to speak before him. And on the day of the opening, Thabo Mbeki changed that round. So he came in pretty late. There were people speaking at the time. And then gave his speech. And then when Nkosi got up to speak, the president left in the middle of his speech. Ex-President Mbeki was questioning the role of HIV into AIDS, and it was a syndrome.
You see, when you ask the question, does HIV cause AIDS? The question is, does a virus cause a syndrome? How does a virus cause a syndrome? It can't.
He didn't believe there were such things as AIDS, or if there was, poverty caused AIDS. And he was saying that he had never met anyone who was infected. Of course, he very publicly said, I want to meet the president. And to show him what a person with AIDS looked like. Because, of course, he was full-blown at that stage. Of course, he became, well, he gave AIDS a face in Africa. The world sat up because, figures were being branded around of the pandemic in sub-Saharan Africa and the devastation, but it wasn't real. And then suddenly there was this little 11-year-old in your sitting room. He spoke on the 9th of July 2000 and he died on the 1st of June 2001. But he was in a coma from the 29th of December 2000. The virus had been attacking his brain, and he had his first seizure on the 29th of December, and he never recovered from that.
I used to bath him at night. I used to bath him at night. He said to me, "It's getting cold, it's cold." And then he'd look at me and his eyes go. And I didn't believe the child. I cried and I said, not this one, not this one. I pray, I cry. Told God that you mustn't take him away from me.
Well, it's a grave pity that this young man has departed. He was exemplary in showing how one should handle a disaster of this nature. He was very bold about it, and he touched many hearts. And although it's a relief, especially to a wonderful lady like Gail Johnson, that the young man has passed away, nevertheless, we are sorry about it.
Yes, people have pointed fingers at me, and people have pointed a hell of a lot of fingers when Nkosi died. There was a hell of a lot of viciousness.
I'm angry, and because I've been accused of exploitation. Where is the exploitation here now? But I will seek legal advice before I take any further, or before Nkosi's Haven, because of course there could be further damage to what we have in the pipeline to care for other people.
These guys, they went to Gail and tell lies to Gail. What I hate. When I heard that Sowetan, they mentioned nonsense story to Gail. The following day, I was called by the Human Rights Commissioner. When I got there, poor Nkosi is dead.
I nearly threw in the towel then, but you just got to do things. When you know you've got to do something, you just bloody do it. After his mom died, I said to him, should we start something for moms and kids? He said yes. I was offered a house rent-free in Berea about 5 months later, and I thought there's a message here, and let's just put it together. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a bank account, I didn't have balances, I didn't have a budget, but it was because of Nkosi being separated from his mom that we looked at forming an organization that would care for the mother and child unit. So my target was a destitute HIV/AIDS infected mom and her kids who had no alternative. And that's what we are. We are the alternative for a mother and child who have no alternative.
My name is Nompumelelo Lorraine Makubo. I'm 17. I had some problems. Like my boyfriend was arrested. He was in prison, so I spoke with the social workers that I have a problem now. I was pregnant before I came here. I told them about my situation, that I'm pregnant. There's no one who can support me. They asked me for adoption, and then I told them adoption. I can't adopt my baby because I love her. Carrying my baby for 9 months is another big step. I can't just let her go. I came here in Nkosi Haven. It was nice. They asked me what do I want to do. What do I want to do? I told them that I want to go back to school and raise this baby. And then they said, okay, it's fine. We can take you back to school. We'll give you our support as long as we see that you need our support.
My name is Lerato Sibiso. I'm a mother of 2 kids. Coming here to start, it changed our lives because I felt important. I felt that I mattered. I felt like a human being. He was one of the kids who made South Africa a better place to live for other HIV people. You think, oh, if a boy like that one could tell his story, what about me? I've always wanted to tell people about my situation so that other people won't fall into the crisis that I went through. I used to be a caregiver. I would go to houses of mothers and people who are HIV. I didn't think that it was going to be me one day. I think younger kids coming up, they would look at this from another level. As people wanting them look out for this child-headed families where a 15-year-old has to look for younger ones. It hurts a lot.
And you know people that have had to do that?
You're plenty.
I was 16, 15, somewhere there. Then social works came and see my mom there. Then even my mom told them that this is what's happening and things like that. So, we came to Nkosi. The only thing that I don't really like is that I'm 19 now, and they can't treat me like a baby.
Now, I'm responsible for someone else's child. South Africa has the highest rape incident in the world. So I panic to allow the kids out. So that creates a level of anger as well. You're not my mother, why are you doing this to me? So they're in an environment where they actually don't want to be either. So the issues that we have to deal with are hectic.
Behind buildings, in front of buildings, behind the bakery, bloody used condoms. Could you please discuss toilet habits in 11 different languages? Don't poo in the garden at any one stage, or we in the garden.
Who's been working for you all this time? People are selfish, and people are using Nkosi Haven. And we used to do cottage inspection almost every day.
Even with duties, they come here. I'm doing this deja vu, and it's chaos. And the teenagers that I'm doing it, except for the boys, the girls will be like giving me the worst attitude I've ever seen. So can we be straight to this?
Go for it.
Gail is trying her level best to help with these kids, of which it's very rare for she's not of our color, she's white, we are blacks, and she's taking care of us. We are more than 200 here. And especially coming from Gail, she's just God sent for us. Family bond is very important for us as blacks. So if one loses a parent, then it becomes very difficult, especially in the younger age, because I'm old, but I can still depend on my mom when I want something, let alone the child. So fortunately, we've got play therapists here who are seeing the kids one-on-one, especially the ones that are just become orphans. I'm one person who's one-on-one with the patients. You become attached to them, and it's very, very painful period when they have to departure from this world. You feel like I felt like maybe I didn't do the job so well. HIV, it was a sketch. It killed.
The waste of life before antiretroviral rollout was just disgusting. There used to be traffic jams in the cemeteries. You know, God, how do I put this? You almost become immune to it because you suddenly think, because you've lost Nkosi and you've seen what that death looks like. And then you see your mom getting worse and worse, and then you prepare yourself in a way. And I used to find that sometimes I would get even more angry because of the waste of life. It was just, our government was in denial. We were, there were 2 or 3 or 4 kids going through a loss again, and it was helpless. It was absolutely helpless. So emotionally, I'd be sad, but I can't stand and burst into tears in front of the mom. They don't see me at home with 5 cigarettes in my mouth and just dealing with death that way. The biggest question for a lot of the moms is who will look after my kids? And we address that.
Life in Nkosi heaven, it's like, it's okay, you get education, food, and everything, but then pros and cons. And the problem with Nkosi heaven is that emotional, you can't actually find a way to deal with the emotional issues. Like, you don't always find a person to talk to, because there's so many of us here. If I tell somebody something, it's not guaranteed that it's gonna stay with that person. It might just be all over the place and rumors spread and things like that. So there's a lot of drama going on and things like that.
The children who are orphaned are not necessarily more difficult, but the dynamics of their needs are different. You've got children who are orphaned and infected from birth. Now there's a dynamic second to none. They had no say, they had no pleasure. Their anger level is phenomenal. They're now teenagers, and their hormones and testosterone are going ballistic. So the realities of their status is hitting home.
My name is prejudice. I'm 12 years old. I'm from Free State in South Africa. When I was a little kid, life was hard for me. And if I would see a little kid suffering the way I suffered, I would tell him or her, you are special just the way you are. What I love about Nkosi is here, all these people that I live with in here, it's they are my sisters and brothers. You go to school, there's safety, you sleep with them full time. That's what I like about it. And there's education. What makes me the most happy is that Gail and his son, thought to there are many kids out there suffering. At night when the rain is raining, they cold, no food, no education. So what they done is a good thing, because there's education, there's food, there's everything. Yeah. I would like to tell people about my life, maybe in hip hop. My name's Petrus, I was born in 01. Left tries to kill you where I come from. Young, I may be, but I've seen a lot. Gunshots, 5 disrupt, I just run. Spent a year in a hospital bed. Soon as I got out, both parents were dead. No time to hang my head, but I had to move away with my grandma to Joburg, where I live today. Now I live in Nkosi, my family is enormous. My new mom Gail gives food and school for us. To me it's freedom, I can make the most of my life dark past, but my future is bright. My one wish for the world is for war to stop. That's why one day I'll become a cop. There are many kids like me, for us life is hard, but you and I are special just the way we are.
Listen, look at my mouth. Hi. Yeah, my name is Felicia. I like to sing Genesis. Me too. Same as me. I am a person because of other people. And this is me. Virus, HIV, and chronic lung, and they treat us nice, and they care about us. I wish that I could get a lung and grow and work to be a social worker or a nurse. I'm glad to say it's me, Dineo Shahani. I am 21 years old. I have my friends. One is Keke, Nozipo, Anna, Lorraine. They are renal. And Viyuswa, that Viyuswa got the kidney and his kidney reject. I'm very sorry about that. You'll get another kidney very soon. It's me.
Do you like it here?
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A teacher and a nurse. My favorite food is rice and chips and pop.
Do you like having volunteers here?
Yes.
Is it ever hard for you when you become friends with a volunteer and then they leave? Is that hard?
Yes.
When that happens, what do you do?
Cry. If you want to go forever, you can go. When you want to. When you don't want, just stay. You can get out if you like to, and you see.
What's your favorite thing? If volunteers can do anything with you, what's your favorite thing?
Hiking them.
Hugging them?
And playing and singing to them, talking to them. You see? Yeah.
So just spending time with you?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
This idea that, I'm going to come to Africa and help out some black children, some poor children. This idea of it, this image. I think if you have that in your head, you shouldn't come here, really, because you're not going to save anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you're not Superman. You're coming here and then you're leaving. That's it. You know what I mean? You have a very tiny role, and for example, we're not here for long.
Yeah.
For maximum up to 4 months.
Yeah.
That's nothing. So there's no way we can really say to ourselves, like when I go back home, and people ask me, did I make a big difference? Did I change something huge? No, I didn't. But did I make a small positive difference? I hope I did.
They have to do this volunteering work from their hearts, not doing it because maybe they want their CV to look nice. They have to be passionate. It's like being a nurse. You come from, you take a patient from a different background. You have to adapt to this person. You have to be in the shoes. And in any case, you have to advocate on behalf of the patient. So same applies to a volunteer. She has to be in our shoes.
A lot of times you're just another volunteer that comes along, and you're maybe here for, I've been here for long, but you're just here for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then you leave again, and you don't even know if they will remember you one day or not. And I think I thought it would be more special, that you're not just one out of 100.
There are those who when they are gone, and you be like, oh, yeah, I missed that one. The love, the care, the dedication. I can tell you that it's the dedication. That's the thing.
And give as much as you can to our orphans, but also realize that you are going to say goodbye, and that you're making a tremendous difference for the time you are here, whether it's one child you've hooked into, or whether it's 20 of the littlies, or one teenager. But make no promises. We've had volunteers saying, I'll fly you overseas for Christmas. Something can go wrong. You can end up in hospital. You can lose your money. A million things can go. So make no promises. And come with a very, very open mind about the different cultures. I've lived here all my life. I've been involved with Nkosi's Haven since '99. And I learn daily.
Even just the other day, one of the younger girls came and said, I wish you could be my big sister. And I was like, me too, So that kind of connection. When they share all the stuff they've been through, which I have no experience with whatsoever, which was way more overwhelming than I expected. Horrible stories like abuse and rape and abandonment. I can't believe they're as tough as they are.
The kids that have gone through traumas here have gone through traumas. Some of the mothers have gone through the most unbelievable times. So you lose partner, you lose home, you lose business, you lose everything, your identity. And you are alienated and isolated and rejected because of your status. No, you got to admire them. You really do.
I grew up not knowing who was my mother, who was my father, and all that. And I struggled a lot. And when at the age of 8 years, I was already working for people, carrying liquor, beers, and there was this guy who used to work next door where I was working. He used to come past and say hello, and sometimes he asked me, where do you live? And I said, I stay here. And he will always say, you don't go and visit anyway. I said, no, I'm fine here, I'm fine. I work here, I stay here, I'm fine. And sometimes he said, sometimes he will take me to visit the other places, you know. And he become my friend all the time. He will come lunchtime, he will come all the time. And he ended up being my boyfriend. He decided we must get married, and we get married. And we had a son, my elder son, Paul, and it was nice. We get our own house, our own home. And he started to get sick. When I take him to the doctor asked him, when we get inside, the doctor asked him, did you tell your wife your problem? He kept quiet, he didn't say anything. And when the doctor said to me, your husband is sick, he's got AIDS, I got mad. Why you didn't tell me? Why you didn't tell me? You hate me. Why? The time I'm pregnant. I'm having my second son, Tabiso. Find out I'm sick. And no, I got mad and I said, I have to get place for myself and my son and my children, because maybe I'll die tomorrow, maybe I'll die next week. But I couldn't get a place to stay. But the way he was making me, you know, I was feeling sorry for him because he was very sick. He couldn't walk anymore. After the doctor told me, then he passed away. Now his family came to visit us, to see their brother. They started accusing me for killing him. I couldn't stand it because I can't kill someone. He's the father of my children, he's my husband, he's my protector, how can I kill him? So I didn't argue. They started fighting for the house, fighting for everything. They took everything away from me. It was the month I gave back to Tabiso. And I had to go and stay in the street. And Tabiso was sick with the 2 boys. And I went to the hospital. I went to the clinic. It was free. And they took me, they get the social worker for me. I had to tell the social worker everything that happened. And the social worker said, asked me what do I want. And I said, I just want a place for my children. I don't want to leave my children. I want to see where my children are going to stay when I die. And at the last she phoned Gail. And Gail said, I can't come.
One of the first things I put into place was therapy. So right in the beginning we had Heather, who's a psychologist, and we had art therapy, and then we brought in play therapy. So, and now we've got art therapy again. So the younger kiddies, whether they're with a mother or orphaned or whatever, are allocated a play therapist. I need the money to employ 2 full-time play therapists. Actually, I've got quite a few kids falling through the gaps. My older kids see the psychologist, and now we've just started art therapy. So, and that's more teens who have really fallen through the gaps. You know, our teen boys particularly think that, cowboys don't cry. Therapy is quite new to them. They don't open up. So I put them into art therapy, and I've made it compulsory, which they don't like, but we need to try and get in somehow. So we try and do as much as possible to make that person as whole as possible. So we address physical, nutritional, educational, psychological, emotional needs. It's a package, because it's the whole person. And you've got to admire these women, because there's a strength to me in some of these women that's phenomenal. They come up smiling. Don't know how, really don't.
There is a lot of children who will knock here in the morning and ask me to give them something, like a mother, ask you for, mommy, if it's like this, I need, and which you can't say no. They know that Mom Grace won't say no. She will help me if I need help. Yeah. And the child will sometimes come to you and say to you, tell me, how did my mother look like, How was my mother? How did my mother look like? This is what makes me sometimes not to think of myself anymore, yeah.
A lot of people want to help, a lot of people want to do something. If someone really wants to help, bring a lot of time. You don't have to bring a lot of money, but you have to put a lot of effort in it. The thing is, a lot of people are willing to donate money if they see where it's used. And I can completely understand that, because like if you give someone some money, you want to see what's the money used for. But I cannot tell a sponsor or someone who donates money, I'm using your money actually to pay my stuff, because then they're like, but why don't you use it for the kids? And it's like, it's basically used for the kids, but if I want this place to keep going, if I want to keep it alive, I have to have some people who actually work for it, and we have to pay these people, and I have to pay my water invoices, I have to pay electricity and what, or school fees, and it's like, yeah, but it's not directly used for the kids. That's why it's basically really hard to find proper funding.
Where does the money come from? Well, hello. Have you seen the carpet burns on my knees going to the bank manager? It's hectic. We get good Dutch support. We get very good support from Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. But it's been a struggle. That's why we sold the two properties, our original two properties. Of course, he officiated the opening of the one, so that was a bit sad. But it made sense to consolidate. I would have preferred to be able to look after more people by having the two. But, the bank balance was saying, no, it's not going to work like that. So, and then we've got the farm. So I've got to now raise about 10 million rand to get the farm going. We've got 12 acres down the road that I want to set up on the sort of kibbutz co-op style of living. And again, targeting moms and kids. My staff, all of us, took a cut in salary last year. Mine was initially 50%, Lynn's was about 40%, and it just couldn't work like that. I mean, I nearly lost my house.
What worries me is that Gail is now struggling a lot with the funds. It might happen. This place can close down. If it closes down, where is all these children going to go? She's struggling. She's got a lot of debts. She's got too much stress, which can make her sleep for good, and she doesn't wake up. Because at night, sometimes I visit her. At night, she doesn't sleep. She's thinking of these children, how to feed them. She's worried about this place. She's not worried about herself. She's not looking after herself. Yeah. She just wants to see this place right, not closing down. and it's going down. It's closing. She's not even paying the salaries to her staff. She doesn't have the money. I'd like to see Nkosi 7 for another year, well, until these little ones who are so mothers dying, finishing school, education money, and the place to pay for them, the rent for this place, so that it doesn't close down. This place doesn't close down. Because I know that if it closes down, where are these children going to go? This is their home now. Where will they go?